So, our scripture passage today is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 2. The word that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest of the mountains, and shall be raised above the hills. All the nations shall stream to it. Many people shall come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall come forth instruction, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge between the nations, and shall arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord." The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. So when I was a kid, am I loud enough? I feel like I'm, okay, I just have the sense I'm not loud enough. When I was a kid, I had this spot where I daydreamed. I don't know if daydreaming was something that was a part of your childhood, but it was rarely a part of mine. I had a swing in the front yard in between two live oak trees. Now, we don't have live oak trees here, but they're called live oak trees because they stay green year-round. They only drop half of their leaves in the winter, so they always have green leaves on the tree. And I would sit between those two probably 100-year-old trees and swing set right in between. And I would sit on that swing set and daydream. And I would swing and watch the cars come by and dream about my life and dream about, what was going on, what I wanted to happen in the future. Sometimes I would just enjoy the setting. It was outside. I loved being outdoors. Often I'd be out there in the evening, right when sun was setting, and I would enjoy the sunset off in the distance. And I have been known, just to show you how excited I would be about a setting sun, I have been known to try to flag down drivers that were coming by on the highway to point to the sunset, to make sure that they saw the sunset. So I would get so caught up in the sunset that I'd want other people to share in it as well. But that was my daydreaming place, my daydreaming time. I can't tell you how many hours I spent out there. And I don't know if that's true for your life, but I don't really have that time in my life now as much, and I do miss it. I miss it a lot because I think daydreaming can be important to us. Now, I know that when you think of daydream, maybe you're one of those that thinks about the short story, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. How many of you have ever read it? I know there was a movie, but how many of you ever read the story? Yes, delightful little short story. And the movie as well, maybe you know it from the movie, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Now, it's funny how, even though not everyone has read that short story, the name Walter Mitty is now in our culture. It's just present in our culture, even though not everyone has read the story. We all know Walter Mitty as someone that daydreamed, right? Into almost so much that it interrupted his life. So the joke was that, he would be standing there daydreaming, and life would be happening all around him, and people would notice that he was just standing there daydreaming. So his mind was somewhere else. But in truth, there are real benefits to daydreaming. Not so much that they can interrupt your life like, Walter Mitty, but that they can actually benefit your life. If you can find a time and a place that is not right in the middle of the chaos, of your life, but some place is quiet, maybe a swing set like I had as a child, but there are benefits. But here's a couple of guidelines for daydreaming. So if you're dreaming about, meaning that famous person and having, time with him. I'm sure John would love to meet Sting and have a dinner with Sting because he's always been a Sting fan. That's just really not going to be very fulfilling if you're dreaming about something that's not really that possible. But if I'm dreaming about having, a wonderful meal with my family in Alabama and what a great time that would be, and something that's accessible, that might be, if you dream about people and places that are already in your lives, it can be very fulfilling to have time to dream about it, to daydream. Daydreaming about things that are, not really possible, that kind of time can be unfulfilling. It can be even hurtful to you. So that's the kind of guidelines that would be helpful to know if you want to spend some time daydreaming. Make it time and dream about things that are already present in your life, and maybe take them a little bit further. So that's some guidelines about daydreaming. We'll talk some more about that. I have been a little obsessed with glasses lately. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I've started wearing glasses. Now, I've always worn glasses longer than I can possibly remember. I was in the 3rd grade when I started wearing glasses. I was very, very young. I started wearing contacts when I was in the 5th grade. So most of the time I've been wearing contacts up here. And I just have started noticing that I really can't even read my 20-point document with my contacts in. Yes, it has gotten that bad. So I just decided just to resort to full-time glasses, except when I'm out exercising or something. I'll pop in my contacts then. But glasses have become an important part because I don't know if you've noticed, but these glasses that I wear, they're Harry Potter glasses. I like to think that they're exactly, Harry Potter glasses. Because when I got them, I didn't even know about Harry Potter. I've had these glasses, I'm embarrassed to say, I've had them for about 17 years. And they were a gift. John had a church member that was an eye doctor, and he just said, come on in, we'll get you all set up with some glasses. And he said, just pick anything. And I picked these. They were my favorite glasses in the whole store, and I've had them ever since. I've changed, of course, the lenses, but I just love these frames. Anyway, and I didn't even know about Harry Potter, but now I know about Harry Potter, and I'm just so glad I was ahead of the times with these glasses now that Harry Potter is so popular. But they're my Harry Potter glasses, and I have been wearing them because my eyes are not as good. But speaking of glasses, I want to pass out some unusual glasses. Have y'all seen these? Maybe you have. So you put them on, and Dawn, I want to give you this, okay? This pair, each time you put them on, the lights from the Christmas tree will take on a shape. This one is Santa, and this one is a snowman. But my favorite by far is the candy cane, I must say. There's just something amazing about it. I'm going to pass these around, and I want you to look at our Christmas tree in one of these glasses. Now, why am I talking about glasses today? I'm talking about glasses because what would it be like if worship, if church was that time in our life when we could put on the glasses of God, have the very eyes of God? That this could be like daydreaming time for us. That we put on God's glasses and we see the world the way that God sees it. We have in this passage a bit of that opportunity to put on God's glasses and see what the world could be like. It could be that we are hiding this life, this Christian life. Maybe we could even call it the secret life of church. Instead of the secret life of Walter Mitty, the secret life of church. And that the story was full, and our time together was full of peace, love, community, full of forgiveness, that when we put on God's glasses, it's all about inclusiveness, that it's full of grace, God giving us really what we need in our life, God longing to give you exactly what you need. wisdom. I open the Bible and I am so drawn to the wisdom of the text. What if we came to church and the secret life that we offer here was full of a real wholeness? Not a, you got to have this product, but a real wholeness. So as those glasses are being passed around, I want you to think about what it would be like if when we come to church, we could put on the very glasses of God and see the world through God's eyes. If we could do that, these verses would not seem so foreign to us. Of course, the highlight of this passage is verse 4 that says, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." Sounds like a pipe dream. Sounds like something that, Walter Mitty would have been dreaming about. But what if it was really God's intent? That there be no war. That all weapons turn into some kind of agricultural tool. What if when we come to church that we're rejuvenated by a true sense of God's vision for the world? Now, I have to admit that when I was planning this sermon, it was hard not to wonder, well, how will some political party hear this passage? It was hard not to hear it that way. But this is church. This is a space where we should all walk in and feel like children of God, where we can open the Bible and let it really speak to us. That the words that have been spoken for over 2,000 years can even speak to our life right now. That yes, this message of peace can be boldly spoken without being afraid of what political party might be offended. This is a passage from Isaiah that is a prophecy, so we don't have any proof that this prophecy has come about, which is why it's in our rotation for Advent. Advent is us anticipating the coming Christ. But it's more than that. It's an anticipation of what God really wants to do with the whole world, with all of creation. Because the birth of Jesus was just the beginning. In fact, the birth of Jesus was evidence of what God really wants to do with the world. In the same way, this prophecy is evidence of what God really wants to do with us. God really does want for swords to be something else. God really does want a spear to be something else. God really does want connection with nations to nation to be a real connection. What if our time together was dreaming what it would be like to have no war in the world, in all the world? So I ask you this Christmas, rather than sugar plums dancing in our heads, to really put on the glasses of God and imagine what this world really could be like. And know that that is what God is living with and has always been living with since Isaiah was written and to the time of today. I want to do something a little different. I want to ask you to close your eyes. I know that those glasses are making the rounds. If they could pause where they are. And I want you to hear this verse. And I want you to add your own daydream of what the world could be. So close your eyes. And I'll read Isaiah verse 4. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Daydream of your own way to imagine what God would see the world as. As you open your eyes, would anyone like to share their vision from God?
My name is Janet Studer, and when I was a little girl on the farm in Beloit, Kansas, I went to a pond and I had a vision from God to work with veterans. And that's what I did all my life. I started when I was 19.
So, a world where veterans were taken care of.
I'm Teresa Hart. My vision it was of farmers and how they used to build pole barns together. And I saw the landscape where farmers were reaching out their hands to assist their neighbors. And there were no fences.
I sincerely hope that I'm helping to work toward everyone having a house, a shelter.
I have a vision of using music as a vessel of love and kindness and acceptance and positive change in the world.
I kept thinking while she was talking about these glasses that God would look and see how we are. And I thought it would be really neat to be able to put the glasses on and look in the mirror and see your own self, how God sees you. And if you're screwed up, maybe you can do something to make it better. And maybe he can show you how to be different. But it'd be fun to see how other people see you or not.
See how God sees you. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes. I'm coming. Tell us your vision.
The people, there will be no hunger, the sick will not be without, and our children will be safe.
A place to daydream, a place to see through the very eyes of God. May we be that kind of church. Amen.